Nepal, a land of breathtaking contrasts. Home to Mount Everest, the highest point on Earth, and the birthplace of Lord Buddha, this Himalayan nation hides more than just stunning views and ancient spirituality. Deep in its remote valleys, some communities still practice polyandry, a rare tradition where one woman marries multiple brothers. Yet behind the beauty lies a harsher truth in many areas. Women face deep-rooted inequality and outdated customs that would shock the modern world. In this video, we uncover 20 fascinating and sometimes troubling facts about Nepal, from sacred peaks to controversial traditions. Get ready for a journey into one of Asia's most mysterious and misunderstood countries. Nepal has never been invaded, unlike its immense neighbor India, which endured nearly 2 centuries beneath the heavy shadow of British colonial rule. Nepal has never been invaded or colonized by any foreign power. This quiet Himalayan nation does not celebrate a day of independence for the profound reason that it never lost its freedom to begin with. A deliberate mastery of diplomacy, the towering fortress of its mountain geography, and the fierce resilience of its people safeguarded its sovereignty through centuries of regional turmoil. Regarded as the oldest nation in South Asia, Nepal maintained an unbroken lineage of rulers and a cultural identity that stood deeply rooted, standing firm as grand empires crumbled around it. Even when the relentless tide of British expansion reached its peak, Nepal negotiated with steadfast resolve to retain its autonomy. Although it did yield certain territories following the Anglo-Nepalese War, generations later, in the year 2008, the country navigated a historic transition, shifting its ancient monarchy into a federal democratic republic for a small, landlocked nation nestled quietly between the massive global powers of India and China. The unbroken continuity of Nepal's independence remains nothing short of extraordinary. Polyandry in Nepal. Most of us are well acquainted with the concept of a man taking multiple wives. But hidden high in the rugged northern reaches of Nepal lies a profoundly different reality. A place where a single woman takes multiple husbands. The root of this ancient practice is carved from the unforgiving earth itself. Arable land in this region is painfully scarce. To divide a family's modest estate among several brothers would splinter their very survival, leaving each man with a patch of dirt far too small to sustain a life. Furthermore, the brutal, biting winters of the Himalayas make taming this landscape a grueling endeavor, demanding the unbroken, collective physical strength of multiple men working in unison. And so, born from the harsh dictates of survival, the tradition of polyandry emerged. A woman marries not just one man, but multiple husbands, who are almost always brothers born to the same parents. The elders of these high valleys will tell you that this system also acts as a pragmatic, natural restraint on their population. It carefully controls the number of children brought into the world, aligning their numbers with the incredibly limited resources the mountainous environment can provide. The stark reality of their world dictates that a man with several wives will inevitably father a sprawling lineage, whereas a single woman with multiple husbands can only bear a limited number of children in her lifetime. Yet, holding such a complex union together requires strict discipline. To maintain stability within the walls of the home, an unyielding family rule dictates that the sole daughter-in-law must govern her affections with absolute fairness among all 3 brothers. Even if her heart secretly leans toward one over the others, it is a heavy, silent burden. Perhaps nowhere else on earth does a wife face the delicate, exhausting task of navigating the pride and intimate needs of multiple husbands under a single roof. She must carefully orchestrate her time and intimacy, ensuring the scales remain perfectly balanced and that no man ever feels cast aside or forgotten. It is a way of life that challenges everything we assume about family and tradition. Does a system forged by such extreme survival seem entirely foreign to you? Or can you recognize the stark, necessary logic behind their sacrifice? Let us know your thoughts down below. The tradition of exiling women during menstruation in Nepal. I speak of the hardships endured by women in Nepal because they still face severe discrimination. However, few are aware that even today, Hindus in Nepal adhere to many special customs regarding women, one of which is the Chaupadi tradition, exiling women during menstruation. In Nepal, Chaupadi is a traditional Hindu practice that has persisted for centuries. According to this tradition, women are shunned and isolated whenever they menstruate because it is considered impure. During this time, women, including young girls reaching puberty, are not allowed to touch kitchen utensils, share a water source with other family members, attend school, or even stay inside their homes. Instead, They are banished to crude shelters, tents, or cattle sheds. Even more appalling, they are prohibited from bathing or combing their hair, exiled to separate huts or shelters, essential items to ward off wild animals, insects, or venomous snakes are often lacking. Moreover, the risk of these women being attacked is exceptionally high, as they are forced to live in isolated environments. The unsanitary conditions expose them to the risk of infections and respiratory illnesses. After menstruation, these women are required to bathe with cow urine, as locals believe only cow urine is pure and clean enough to rid them of impurity. Imagine if women had to endure being exiled from their homes every month like this. It would indeed be incredibly challenging. Wouldn't it? Share your thoughts on this in the comments below. Nepal was once the capital of marijuana in the world. A compelling truth you might not be aware of is that Nepal was once the primary sanctuary for those drawn to the world of cannabis. Throughout the 1960s, enthusiasts from every corner of the globe journeyed here to experience it for themselves. This era reached its conclusion when the plant was officially declared illegal in Nepal in the year 1973. In the present day, it remains strictly against the law and is not permitted for sale. Yet, the very climate of this land is so naturally suited for the plant that it continues to thrive across the landscape. One can see it growing freely in the rural reaches, along the quiet roadsides and canals, within the fields of farmers, and upon the steep mountain slopes. Despite the restrictions, many of the local people still rely on its trade to secure their daily livelihood. Nepal is the country of the roof of the world, Mount Everest. Nepal is a compact, landlocked nation in South Asia, spanning an area of 147,148 square kilometers. Great river systems flow from the north to the south, carving out towering mountains and deep valleys where swift waters surge, creating a natural landscape of immense and majestic beauty. It is no surprise to learn that the highest peak in the world, Mount Everest, reaching toward the heavens at 8,848 meters, is located here. It is joined by 7 out of the 14 peaks on Earth that rise above 8,000 meters, all standing within the borders of Nepal, beyond the shadow of Everest itself. This nation proudly holds 8 of the highest mountain peaks in the world. Nepal has the world's most dangerous airport. Experts look upon the brutal weather, the obscured visibility, and the jagged mountainous terrain as the primary reasons why Nepal is often called the most treacherous place on Earth to take to the skies. This unforgiving landscape, crowded with countless high peaks, presents a grueling challenge for any pilot attempting to navigate from the cockpit. The danger intensifies when the weather turns, making the reliance on small aircraft to reach remote, rural mountain villages a delicate and high-stakes necessity. Official reports from the Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal reveal that planes with fewer than 19 seats are far more vulnerable to disaster under these punishing conditions. Most notorious of all is Lukla Airport, tucked away in the northeast, a place widely recognized as the most dangerous airport in the world. Serving as the gateway to Mount Everest, its runway clings to a mountain cliffside, ending abruptly with a terrifying drop into a yawning, deep gorge below. Nepal has been the silent witness to several devastating air tragedies. The most recent occurred on Sunday, January 15th, 2023, claiming the lives of at least 68 people. It stands as the darkest aviation disaster this Himalayan nation has seen in 30 years. This tragic event also ranks as the 3rd worst aviation accident in the history of the country. Have any of you ever made the journey by air into Nepal? I invite you to share your experiences and reflections in the comments. Facing such formidable risks, one cannot help but wonder if the fear of flying here weighs heavily on the mind. To many, it feels like a high-stakes gamble with life itself. Legend of the Yeti. The Yeti, a name that translates to snowman in the Nepali tongue, is a creature of deep legend, believed to inhabit the vast, unforgiving altitudes of the Himalayas. The Yeti is described as a massive being, weighing anywhere from 91 to 181 kilograms. Its powerful frame covered entirely in thick, reddish-brown or dark gray fur. It is a mysterious, bipedal wanderer believed to reside in the silent, perpetual snow regions of Asia. Moving upright on 2 feet, much like a human, it is known to leave behind solitary footprints pressed deeply into the pure white snow. Despite numerous expeditions launched into the most remote and rugged areas of Nepal in search of concrete evidence, mankind has never found them. Many of these relentless searches have even expanded outward into the vast territories of Russia and China. Yet, the mountain yields no answers. and the true existence of the Yeti remains a profound and enduring enigma. The living goddess Kumari. The word Kumari, drawn from the Nepali tongue, translates simply to virgin goddess. Yet, she represents something far more profound. She stands alone as the only living deity worshipped with deep, unwavering reverence by both Hindu and Buddhist faithful alike, believed to be the earthly incarnation of the goddess Telehu, breathing in mortal form. The Kumari is said to hold miraculous powers. She is looked upon to heal afflictions of the flesh and spirit, to grant the quiet, desperate wishes of the heart, and to bestow a protective blessing over her people. Bound by an ancient and unyielding tradition, young girls between the tender ages of 2 and 4 are subjected to a meticulous and demanding selection process. Once chosen, they are gently removed from the ordinary world they have known, taken to dwell within the quiet, hallowed walls of a secluded residence at the very heart of the capital city, Kathmandu. When the air fills with the sounds of high religious festivals, the Kumari is brought forth into the light. She is elaborately adorned, dressed in vibrant, magnificent garments that carry the heavy, beautiful weight of centuries-old tradition. Yet, this divine reign is intimately tied to the fleeting nature of youth. Upon the arrival of puberty, her tenure as a living deity draws to an inevitable close. She quietly relinquishes her sacred duties, stepping down so that another young girl may be chosen to bear the mantle, setting the ancient, unbroken cycle into motion once again. Stepping away from the altar, the former Kumari returns to the grounded rhythms of mortal life, but she is never truly ordinary again. She moves through the rest of her days, carrying the deep, enduring respect of a nation, her livelihood secured by a lifelong stipend granted by the government of Nepal. To be chosen to embody the divine, even for a fleeting passage of childhood, remains an honor of unimaginable, sacred weight. Does this living tradition provoke a sense of reverence in your mind? Or do you view the heavy burden placed upon such young shoulders in a different light? Leave your reflections with us down below. The only country in the world without a rectangular or square flag. What shape is your country's flag? Do you remember? Comment below to let me know. In countries around the world, flags are rectangular or square. Only Nepal's flag is unique in that it is not a rectangle like other countries, but rather consists of 2 overlapping triangles. This flag symbolizes Hinduism and Buddhism. The red color represents the rhododendron, Nepal's national flower, and it also signifies victory and harmony. The moon represents the tranquility and cool weather of the Himalayan mountains, while the sun symbolizes the warmth of the low-lying regions of Nepal. Adventure sports tourism. Are there any among you who find yourselves drawn to the razor's edge of extreme sports? I invite you to share your thoughts down below. For I must confess, the sheer intensity of these pursuits instills a quiet sense of dread within my own chest. Yet, if the fierce call of such adrenaline runs deep within your blood, then a journey to the heart of Nepal is an absolute necessity. Standing as the guardian to the very roof of the world, Mount Everest, towering at a staggering elevation of 8,848 meters above the level of the sea, Nepal represents the ultimate proving ground that every true adventurer harbors a quiet dream of conquering. Moreover, resting deep beneath the towering, snow-capped shadows of the Himalayas lies a vast, unforgiving network of hundreds of grueling trails. These rugged paths constantly draw those who seek the profound thrill of testing their physical limits against the untamed wild. It is no exaggeration to say that this ancient land is the absolute pinnacle for any soul hungering for the rawness of true, adventurous travel. The vast majority of those who set foot upon this earth find it impossible to resist the primal urge to challenge the elements. They find themselves drawn to intense, extreme pursuits, scaling the silent, treacherous peaks, trekking deep into the dense and untamed jungles, battling the roaring, icy river currents within a kayak, taking the terrifying, breathless plunge of a bungee jump, paragliding high above the sweeping, vast valleys, or drifting silently through the open sky in a hot air balloon. If you were to stand upon the rugged earth of Nepal, would you possess the steady nerve to test yourself against these formidable challenges? If only for a single moment, I welcome you to share your honest reflections. Over 80% of the population follow Hinduism. There is a striking irony to be found in the spiritual heart of the Himalayas. Nepal is the home of Lumbini, the hallowed grounds where Lord Buddha first entered this world. Yet, this nation is fundamentally rooted in the ancient traditions of Hinduism. Despite being the very cradle of Buddhist thought, A staggering 81.3% of the people here are devoted to the Hindu faith. This makes Nepal the nation with the highest concentration of Hindus on the entire planet. Buddhism, while woven deeply into the very fabric of the country's history and identity, is practiced by only about 9% of the population. Beyond these two pillars, the spiritual landscape is further shaped by others. 4.4% of the people follow Islam, while more than 4% find their path through Christianity, or the ancient, indigenous Kirati faith known as Mundam. Yet, in Nepal, faith is not a border, it is a bridge. This unique gathering of beliefs has created a landscape where the lines between the sacred often blur. You will find temples shared by different devotees, festivals where the songs of various traditions overlap, and a daily life where harmony is not just a goal, but a living reality. It makes this land a rare and spiritually rich mosaic, where different souls walk the same path in peace. Nepal boasts rich wildlife, contrary to the common perception of Nepal as a land of icy, snow-covered Himalayas. It is in reality home to some of the rarest and most precious wildlife species. Nepal is even dubbed the Amazon of Asia, with many biologists believing that its incredibly rich biodiversity is still not fully explored. Nepal hosts over 3,160 species of orchids, accounting for over 2% of orchid species worldwide, and 6% of rhododendron species worldwide. It serves as a refuge for over 30 species of wild animals and more than 800 bird species. There are over 650 butterfly species and over 6,000 moth species, rhinoceros, Royal Bengal tigers, crocodile, snow leopards, red pandas, Himalayan black bears, and many other peculiar species are found in Nepal's dense forests. If you're a wildlife enthusiast, Chitwan National Park is a destination you can't afford to miss when visiting Nepal. It's the only place in the world where Royal Bengal tigers reside. Additionally, around 400 critically endangered Asian elephants are found here. Besides, the park harbors rare species such as one-horned rhinoceros, gaur, wolf, leopard, and various other fauna like monkeys, wild boars, foxes, jackals, civets, porcupine, otters, and reptiles including the critically endangered gharial. The park also hosts about 100 species of fish living in its mangrove forests, rivers, and lakes. What are your thoughts on this diverse ecosystem? If you find it intriguing, leave a like and comment on the video to let me know. Host of the world's largest animal sacrifice festival, the Gimi Festival unfolds once every 5 years in the quiet village of Barara, situated roughly 160 kilometers south of Kathmandu, Nepal. Resting near the border of India, hundreds of thousands of people converge upon this land for a powerful 2-day event on December 3rd and 4th, anchored by a deeply rooted belief that offering animal sacrifices will appease the goddess Gimi and usher good fortune into their lives. Thousands of devout followers make the long, arduous journey from across Nepal and neighboring India to take part in the gathering. They spend several days completely exposed to the open elements, grounding themselves outdoors as they divide their passing hours between fervent prayer and sleeping directly upon the earth. The sheer scale of this ritual carries a profound and heavy weight. In the year 2009, an estimated 500,000 animals, a vast multitude of buffalo, goats, pigeons, and other living creatures were slaughtered upon these grounds in the name of tradition. By the year 2014, that staggering number had seen a sharp decline, falling to roughly 30,000. If the unyielding rhythm of this ancient custom holds steady, the festival will inevitably rise again in the year 2024. When confronted with the stark reality of such a deeply entrenched tradition, what are your own thoughts? Kai Puja, or the Day of Dogs in Nepal. Dogs receive a profound level of devotion during the celebration of Kai Puja, a day dedicated entirely to them, falling on the second day of the 5-day Tihar festival. Observed by the Hindu faithful, the people of Nepal have long held the dog in the highest regard, seeing them not merely as animals, but as faithful companions, tireless helpers, and the steadfast protectors of mankind. Deeply rooted in their spiritual belief is the conviction that dogs serve as the sacred messengers of the god Yamaraj, the deity who guides the souls of those who have departed this world. Dedicating a specific day to these creatures is seen as a vital path to honoring and pleasing the divine. On this singular day, every dog, whether a beloved family pet or a weary stray wandering the streets, is treated with the utmost reverence. They are adorned with vibrant flower garlands and wreaths of bright marigolds, tikka, carefully crafted from vermilion powder, rice, and yogurt, is placed upon their foreheads as a mark of sanctity. This sacred symbol is meant to bestow a blessing upon any soul who happens to cross paths with these honored animals. In every sense of the word, dogs are treated like kings upon this day. It is a striking and beautiful tradition. Is it not? Nepal, the birthplace of Lord Buddha, nestled at the quiet foothills of the Himalayas, 25 kilometers east of the ancient city of Kapilavastu, lies Lumbini. It was here, in this sacred corner of Nepal, that Queen Mayadevi gave birth to Siddhartha Gautama, the soul who would become Lord Buddha, the founder of Buddhism and a beacon of compassion for all living beings. Lord Buddha was born in 623 BC, more than 2,600 years ago. Today, Lumbini remains a testament to this legacy, holding profound evidence of its role as a center for pilgrimage since the 3rd century BC, marked by the silent archaeological ruins of temples and ancient stupas. For anyone journeying through Nepal, a visit to Lumbini is a customary and essential passage. Travelers are drawn to the sacred garden and the Mayadevi temple, a structure whose foundations were laid nearly 2,600 years ago. Located about 240 kilometers from the bustling capital of Kathmandu, in recognition of its immense spiritual and historical weight, Lumbini was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the year 1997. It stands alongside Nepal's 3 other prestigious UNESCO sites: the culturally rich Kathmandu Valley, the untamed wilds of Chitwan National Park, and the towering majesty of Sagarmatha National Park. High rate of child marriage in a conservative country like Nepal. Marriages are often arranged by parents, with many forcing their children into marriage due to cultural or economic reasons. In Nepal, girls as young as 12 years old are married off. It is estimated that about 40% of girls are married while still children. If a girl hasn't married by the age of 18, she may be sold to a brothel by her family. Reproduction is the most important factor threatening women here. Without education, if they cannot endure abuse, their only option is to leave home. This practice has become so ingrained that even today, many young girls in Nepal elope with their lovers to avoid being forced into marriage by their families or to escape poverty and household chores. When adolescent love is not accepted in many rural areas of Nepal, couples often elope and marry clandestinely to legitimize their relationship. Many other couples marry because of unintended pregnancies. Although the government has banned marriage under the age of 20, this situation still occurs frequently, especially in rural areas. Fruit marriage, an interesting custom in Nepal. The newer people in Nepal have a very peculiar custom where every young woman must be married 3 times in her life. The first marriage is called Bel Sanga Bibaha. Then they marry the son called Gofar Rakni. And finally, they go through the actual marriage with their husband. These marriage rituals are performed in both newer Buddhist and Hindu traditions. The newer believe that if a woman's husband dies, she is not considered a widow because she has married the god Shiva. Additionally, if girls marry before puberty, the gods will save them from the stigma in any future attacks by other genders. The fruit marriage, Belanga Bibaha, is the first ceremony that young girls go through from a very young age. Ensuring that they remain pure and innocent, girls marry the bell fruit from the wood apple tree, a symbol of the god Shiva. The marriage ceremony with the bell fruit is performed when the girl is about to reach puberty, usually at 9 years old. Belanga Bibaha is a 2-day ceremony, starting with the ritual of painting the soles of the feet, red to purify the body, and ending with the Kenardan ceremony, meaning the fathers agree to give their daughters purity to the god Shiva. This custom helps women live independently from their husbands. They can divorce or become widows without losing their reputation because they are still in a married state. At least with the sun and the bell fruit. This is also a way to prevent child marriage because girls have less desire to marry early after marrying the bell fruit and the sun. Ethnic diversity. Nepal is a mysterious cultural tapestry with rich and diverse ethnic traditions. There are over 80 diverse ethnic groups living in this country in harmony and peace, speaking over 123 languages and local dialects. Different ethnic groups in Nepal have different cultures, traditions, and festivals that are respected and harmonized with each other. Art, culture, and religion are integral parts of the Nepali people's distinctiveness. They are characteristic features that can hardly be blended, with different expressions from religion, festivals, food, drinks, languages, music, Folklore. Philosophy. Tibetan Burmans from the north and Indo-Aryans from the south are two groups that influence each other's customs the most. The Sherpa people mainly live in the Himalayan region. Go to Tibet to trade rice and exchange cultures. They are heavily influenced by Tibetan culture. The Bahan and Chetri people live throughout the country, mainly engaged in agriculture and animal husbandry. The Newars, on the other hand, are more business-oriented, mainly concentrated in the Kathmandu Valley and towns across Nepal. Would you like to visit Nepal to learn more about the diversity of this country? Let me know in the comments. A country with numerous UNESCO World Heritage Sites. This country has a high concentration of UNESCO World Heritage Sites, with Kathmandu Valley alone boasting 7 World Heritage Sites within a radius of 15 kilometers. The UNESCO-recognized heritage sites in Kathmandu include Buddhanath Stupa, Pashupatinath Temple, Swayambhunath Stupa Monkey Temple, Shanghu Narayan Temple, and the 3 Kathmandu Durbar squares in Basantapur, Kathmandu, and Patan. Not only is there an abundance of heritage sites to visit, but visitors to this country also find solace for their souls. When Nepal is mentioned, one might think of the snow-capped Himalayas and the towering Everest challenging mountaineers. But Nepal is also known for its tranquility and peace. For many travelers, Nepal is a sacred destination, a land of tranquility amidst the hustle and bustle of the world to temporarily forget life's pressures and love slowly. Many people choose Nepal looking at these breathtaking scenes of Nepal. Surely everyone would want to visit this place at least once? Right. Nepal's peculiar time zone. The world has 24 time zones, each differing by an hour. However, some time zones are affected by changes in politics, geography, or society, or due to new conventions. Nevertheless, countries usually differ by 1 or half an hour. In contrast, Nepal does not adhere to any international rules. Its time is based on GMT plus 5:45, deviating 45 minutes from Greenwich Mean Time. In fact, this Himalayan nation has its own time zone called Nepal Standard Time (NST). Nepal Standard Time came into existence in 1956, when policymakers decided that the meridian determining the country's time should be based on Gaurashankar, a sacred mountain peak located east of the capital Kathmandu. At that time, India was setting its meridian at Kolkata, so Nepal time was ahead by 10 minutes. Today, Indian time lags Nepal time by 15 minutes. The time difference between the two neighboring countries has given rise to jokes that Nepalis are always 15 minutes late, or Indians tend to be 15 minutes early. Nepali people refer to their country's peculiar time zone as Nepal time stretch, as they consider the 15-minute difference as a grace period if running late. It is also a point of pride for Nepalis to be ahead of India, a larger neighboring country, even if only by a few minutes. But compared to the West, Nepalis are even further ahead as they still use an ancient calendar, predating the Gregorian calendar by 56 years and 6 months hence. The year is 2076 in Kathmandu. If you ever visit Nepal, pay attention to the time and date here. So there we have discovered the 22 most peculiar and interesting facts about the country of Nepal. Which fact impressed you the most? Remember to comment and let us know which fact about Nepal you found most intriguing. I quite enjoyed the celebration of Dogs Day in this country. Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos from us. See you in the next videos. The tradition of polyandry in Nepal is certainly fascinating and practical in its cultural context. I admire how it reflects a unique adaptation to the harsh environment and scarce resources, helping families maintain land without division and manage survival challenges collectively. However, from a modern perspective, the system seems complicated and potentially unfair to the woman involved, who must balance relationships with multiple husbands equally. Personally, I find the idea difficult to imagine in my own life, where monogamy is the norm and emotional intimacy is expected to be exclusive. Still, I respect that such customs can serve important social and economic roles in different cultures. Learning about this tradition reminds me how diverse human societies are and how solutions evolve in response to environment and history.